Alright y'all, today we're discussing a very useful topic, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to talk about how to stay productive at the times when you don't feel like it. I'm pretty sure all of us, 101% of us, had times in your lives when you know you want to do something and you know you need to be doing something, but you don't. Because it is difficult to stay disciplined. It is difficult to stay productive. Laziness is an evolutionary advantage that has been around for millions of years. So it is not surprising and absolutely nothing to blame yourself about in your natural state of mind to wanting to just relax, to be wanting to just maybe not do something, although you know you need to be doing this. So today we're going to talk about the ways, some advice that I can give you to stay productive even when your mood is low, you don't really want to do anything, all you want to do is watch Netflix all day and do whatever. I consider myself a disciplined enough person to talk about this subject because it took me so much time to teach myself how to be disciplined. And I want to say this in advance that discipline is something like a skill. Some people are naturally better at it, some people are naturally worse at it, but in general, it is a skill that anybody can acquire. And today we're going to talk about exactly how to do it. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first advice and recommendation I'm going to give you is learn how to focus. Again, here we got to teach ourselves to do it. We live in a society where constant spikes of dopamine became a norm. So we technically have to teach ourselves how to stay focused. The way you do it and the way that I do it with myself when I know there are things that I need to be doing, but I'm postponing them, trying to find something else to do. So the first thing that you want to do is tell yourself, okay, if you want to sleep right now, if you are lacking energy, if you want to sleep, you can take a nap, you can go to bed, that's okay. If you do not want to sleep, but yet you do not want to get to any work that you need to be doing, that's okay. Everything you can do, you can stare at the wall, you can stare at the ceiling, you can, I don't know, sit on your chair, sit in your armchair, sit on your sofa, sit on your couch. You're not allowed to use your phone. You are not allowed to watch TV. You're not allowed to listen to me. You're not allowed to do anything. I just sit there and I get so bored. And it can be 20 minutes. It can be, usually it's much less than 20 minutes. But you will get to the point where you gotta trick your mind, because your mind is tricking you. Your mind is being like, no, I don't want to do it. Or your mind will try to distract you, like, okay, if you want to do something productive, let's clean the room, or let's do this and that. And this is not important. This is not important right now. Right now you need to get your work done. So what you're going to do is you're not going to let your mind trick you into substituting things like, oh, you know what, I'm not in the mood to do this homework, I'm going to clean my room instead so I do something productive. No, this is not where we're going. No, you sit down, you don't allow yourself to get on your phone, to get on the social media, to read a book. You're not, unless book is what you need to be reading right now, you're not allowed to consume any sort of entertainment until your brain gets so bored that it tricks your mind like, all right, you know what? I'd rather be reading stuff about my schoolwork than staring at the plain wall for the next 20 minutes. So this is the first thing you need to try to do. And this is going to be arduous for a lot of people, because imagine just sitting there like this, staring at the wall, staring at whatever, not doing anything. You can walk around. Can you have music on? No, you can't. You can walk around. You can breathe, you can look at the wall, you can look at the ceiling, but there's nothing else you can do. And eventually the thing that it does to you, it tricks your mind into thinking like, all right, you know what, fine, I'd rather do this. So that's my first recommendation. The second recommendation is knowing the cost of getting distracted. It is proven that on average it takes about 15 minutes for us to get back from the flow state. When we get distracted by something, it takes us on average 15 minutes to get back into the flow state that we just were a couple minutes ago when we get distracted. So knowing this, I put my phone on a do not disturb mode, or I became much better in it, so I just put my phone kind of away on the side. Some people recommend putting your phone in a completely different room, in the drawer somewhere. I don't know, leave it downstairs, leave it upstairs, whatever. Like, do not have it in your room. I would say for me right now, this is an extreme because I use my phone sometimes to listen to classical music when I study. That's the first thing. Second thing, sometimes I need a calculator. And if I use calculator for my laptop, this is atrocious. I hate using calculator for my computer. It's not comfortable, so I might as well just use my phone. Or another thing, if you're using something like a Pomodoro technique where you get very focused for, like, let's say 15-20 minutes, I need to set a timer. So obviously, if I set a timer, I need my phone to be somewhere in the room so I can hear when it goes off. So, but essentially what we're wanting to do is to isolate ourselves from any possible distractions that may lead you out of the flow state and distract you, because next thing you know is you need 15 minutes on average. For a lot of people, it's much more. If you have like a dopamine addiction, trust me, it's gonna take you more than 15 minutes to focus on this one thing that you were just doing. So keep that in mind. Next advice that I'm gonna give you is keep your mind clear. I am sure I'm not the only person who, you might be doing something, you might be working on something. Okay, you got yourself to work and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I gotta make this order that I forgot to do. Oh, I need to do this also. I need to put it on my planner before I forget about it, because if I don't do it right now, then I'm never going to remember it. And what we do is, again, we get distracted. We get distracted with this thoughts like, oh my gosh, I need to do this, I need to do that. And you're sitting there, you're trying to focus on whatever you need to be focusing on. But these thoughts cross your brain and you cannot resist this. So one of the things that really helped me to clean my brain, to clear my mind when I get to something, keep your to-do list for the day. 24 hours, okay? Do not worry about anything else. So when you sit there and the thoughts like that cross your mind, this is not what I will focus on it later. You can put it on your monthly to-do list. You can put it on your yearly to-do list, weekly to-do list. Today, we're focusing only on those specific main tasks. Nothing else is going to bother me. Here's the thing though. A lot of people have this problem where they cannot allocate all the things that they have to do into categories of, oh, what do I need to do today and what do I need to do tomorrow? And that's another reason why we get this thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I also need to do this. And so you get distracted. One of the things that really helps me is Eisenhower's metrix. This is an amazing thing. And the more you do it, the more it kind of becomes straightforward. So like you don't need to Google it all the time. But Eisenhower's metrix is basically like 4 little squares that are divided by the importance of tasks. And for example, it's the how urgent it is and stuff like that. So there's like different variables that you would measure a specific task on. And depending on whether this specific task is meeting those criteria, you're gonna put it in a high urgency list or a low urgency list, or like a medium urgency list, or like super far on the back burner list. So this is really helpful if you are somebody like me sometimes and you're like, oh, you know what, I actually gotta do this too, and I gotta do this, and I get so overwhelmed. Like, what do I get to do first? What do I need to do today? And what do I need to do in the next hour? What do I need to do right now? And then what are some things that I can focus on later on in the day? So if you have this problem, and a lot of people have this problem, write down a to-do list for today, specifically things you are wanting to do. As soon as you are done with those daily tasks that you have to do, yes, you can bother about any other questions that come to your mind, and you can write them down, figure out when you're going to do, as long as your goals for today are accomplished. And this is one very important thing that I started doing long ago, and which is really helpful. I go to bed knowing exactly what I'm going to do the next day. Exactly. I have a whole list of things that I need to do, and I know I'm not going to be bothered about anything else until this gets done. Of course, life is life, right? And sometimes we do occasionally have things that are super urgent and we didn't see them coming, so that's okay. That's totally fine. Sometimes life gets a little messy, life gets a little hectic, and we got to do some things before we can get to other things that we originally thought we were going to do, and that's okay. So again, keep your mind clear so you don't get distracted. And again, going back to the second point, when you get distracted, we just talked about it, on average, it takes 15 minutes to get back to that flow focus state you just were in. So make sure to keep your brain clear out of any random tasks that might cross your brain. The last and probably the most difficult advice is to unteach your brain. what am I talking about here? Probably most of us have this thing where we cannot do one simple thing without being entertained. In our time, in our century, in the current reality that we're living in, we are constantly under an overflow of dopamine. So we basically taught our brain to be constantly entertained. And if you think, oh, no, it's not about me. All right, let me ask you a few questions. What was the last time you were just folding your laundry without listening to some podcast or music, or without trying to do all these different things simultaneously? What was the last time you were brushing your teeth without scrolling through TikTok? We have taught ourselves, and this is not just our fault, all right? This is industries with their $1 million budgets on, okay, let's make this app as addictive as we can. So obviously a human being and a corporation with hundreds of millions of dollars invested into marketing and making this app or making this social media thing make us as addicted as it can is obviously not, like, we cannot compete with this, okay? So, and we naturally fall into a state of, all right, one day you do a lot of dopamine increasing things, second day, third day, first year, second year, third year. And we've been living with social media for quite a while, right? I'm hoping you guys understand. We've been living with this dopamine spike, in this dopamine spike reality for so much time that we literally, in order for us to be productive, even when we don't want to do anything, we need to unteach our brain to seek this constant dopamine spike. The reason why I'm telling you that this is one of the hardest things to do is you're slowly going to start unteaching your brain. This is something that I started to do a few months ago and which has showed so freaking helpful. Probably the most helpful advice in this video is this one. Unteach your brain. What are we going to do? Next time, you don't have to go all drastic, okay? Because any single time that you're trying to cut out every single thing that you find distracted from your life, it's never gonna work out. You're gonna go 1-2 days, 1-2 weeks, and then you're gonna fall back into the pit where you were in. So we're going to start slowly, okay? For example, what I started is, okay, today I'm not listening to music on the way to work or on the way to class. Today, I'm not taking my headphones with me. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be using TikTok before I go to bed, for example. Or stuff like this. Slowly start unteaching your brain to get constant dopamine spikes. Next time you take a drive somewhere, if it's like not super long and super boring, all right, I'm not gonna listen to some podcasts or books. I'm just gonna focus on my own reality, on my own brain. I don't need to be constantly entertained. I can survive 20 minutes of drive without some entertainment coming from a speaker or from my headphones, okay? So that's what we're going to do. A lot of people like to joke about iPad kids. You know those iPad kids that we constantly joke about? The kids who you take their iPad away, they have no clue what to do. They are so confused. What else is there? A TV, a PlayStation, an Xbox, a computer? So we're joking about this iPad kids when in reality we are the iPad kids, but like 27-year-old iPad kids, okay? So, and we have to unteach our brain to be constantly entertained. That is the most crucial piece of advice in this video that I can give you. This has helped me the most out of all these four. These four are really good, and you absolutely should try to incorporate some of them slowly but surely into your life. And I promise you, you will see results right away. A lot of people come to me, not like a lot, because I don't interact with too many people on a regular basis, okay? But some people will come to me like, Sophia, you know what? Like your life is like so put together. Like you got your stuff together. You got everything. And I don't. I'm still in the process of unteaching my brain from constant entertainment at work, in school, at home, in my personal life, in everything that I do. So I'm absolutely not perfect. But I'm telling you, I have seen the difference, because the person that I was a couple months ago is not the same person. It's not the same level of focus. It's not the same level of productivity. It's not the same level of discipline where I have been just a couple months ago. So if you incorporate those little steps into your life, I promise you, you will see results. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you, with advice number 4, you're gonna see results almost instantly. It's not gonna take you more than a couple of days to see results in your brain activity. So trust me, be conscious of your thoughts rather than letting some third-party entertainment getting into your brain. You will be surprised how focused you can be without Adderall, without caffeine, without all these things. You can be so focused. just as you slowly start to unteach your brain from all this constant entertainment that we encounter with every single day. And the more you incorporate the tips into your life, slowly but surely, the better you will be, the more productive you will be. And even if you wake up and you don't feel like doing nothing, you're going to be like, all right, what else am I going to do? I need to work. I need to be focused on my goals. There's more than that. There's more than this 4 tips, but I really wanted to keep this video short, although it's probably already not very short. But I just wanted to bring up 4 advice just for the sake of keeping this video short, so you guys can actually focus on it, because no one's going to be watching a 25-minute video, right? But if you guys do want to see the second part to this video about some other tips that you can incorporate into your life, especially we can talk about mood swings and what to do when your mood is not okay, when you're feeling very sad, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling this sort of way, let me know in the comments so I can make another video on that. And if you guys like this video, please let me know down in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content about beauty, leveling up, discipline, motivation, productivity, all that kind of good jazz. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.